I'll be honest, I love the Black Isle Brewery and I love a Helles beer. But a few years ago, they did one that, well, it just wasn't really a Helles. But apparently, they've given it another go. Hello and welcome back to the channel, and yes, that's right, a few years ago I reviewed Black Isle Brewery's Helles. If I can find the video, I'll put some clips in here. But you can also tell they've not been stingy with the hops. Wow, there's a lot going on there. Very complex beer. It's punchy, bitter, slightly fruity, bit of citrus, and still quite hoppy. It's, I'll be honest, not really true to form. I don't really know what to tell you. Bad batch, dud, can, I don't know what to say, but unfortunately, that one isn't what it's meant to be. But basically, I said, look, it was a good beer, but it wasn't really a Helles. So much so, in fact, that I actually ended up texting around a load of people who I knew had bought the same beer and said, what did you think? And everyone replied going, yeah, it was all right. Not what I expected. So I even gave this information back to them, actually, whether it was kind of well received or not, I'm not sure, but I said, look, was this right or is this a mislabeled can? Because it really just isn't a Helles. It was effectively an IPL. It was overly hopped. It was a good IPL. In fact, they should have called it an IPL. But anyway, they've given it another go, but this one I already know might have an issue. And that is, they did warn me they're a bit lively, which based on my pouring skills isn't, well, the best start, let's be honest. And more importantly, it's really annoying because Black Isle do a core range of beer called Blonde. Now, it's not a blonde ale, it's more like a blonde European beer, and what it really is, well, it's just a damn good lager, really. And it's one of my favouriteest beers in the world ever. So for them to amp it up and bring it in a bigger can and nicer it, good English there, Tom, make it better, you know, make it more expensive effectively. I should be all over this. But I have a concern, and that's just, I don't know what it is. If they put more malt in the blonde, you'd have a banging Helles, basically. Fingers crossed is all I'm going to say. Anyway, enough of my concerns, let's get straight into this. So this is just Black Isle's Helles unfiltered lager beer. I don't even know what the ABV is on this. Ooh. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
3.4%. Okay. I'm going to read the bit on the back because it doesn't give any tasting notes or anything like that. It says, were we to follow our time-honoured German traditions, we brew this beer to exactly the same recipe for 426 years, safe in the knowledge it was perfect the first time around. This is our fourth iteration of this style, and Thorsten would go straight to hell, brackets es, for his tinkering where he's still in his homeland. Here we brew things a little bit differently. Crisp, refreshing, unfiltered and gluten-free. Black Isle Brewery, 100% organic, 3.4% Helles. Well, one of the previous 3 iterations of this beer, which I think was the last one, just wasn't a Helles. This might be fantastic, but I do worry about that low ABV because, well, Helles is all about that malt profile. There needs to be a lot of it to get that flavour in there. Yes, they could cut it short, as in like stop the fermentation before it's all at 3.4%, before it's all been fermented. But anyway, look, it's a very nice can. In fact, it's one of the best bits of can art I think Black Isle have done. They're pretty good at some stuff. Their drawing is always very nice, but I'm digging this kind of typographic and landscape background thing. I really like that. Apparently this is lively, so wish me luck. That was pressured, no doubt about it. Felt like an airsoft gun going off. But actually, it has been in the fridge for a few days. It doesn't seem too bad. Let's hope. Let's put the logo the right way on. Correct glassware. Although this is a proper. That's pale. That's really. Black Isle, what are you doing? Why? Why? What? Why? Why is it piss water? It went wrong. It is very excitable. Wow. Probably shouldn't have used the nucleated glass for something I was told was quite lively. That's gone badly. Let's set that aside, shall we? I thought that might happen, so I've come with a backup, which is the oh, that's growing. It's turning into like something from a horror film there. Right, anyway, I'm going to pour the rest of it into the tulip and hope that that's better. Oh, it's definitely unfiltered. Collection of Scottish sea artefacts in the bottom of that glass. But anyway, I'm very concerned about what's happening over here, but we're going to leave it there because otherwise we'll never get any tasting notes. Oh, interesting. So aroma actually spot on. Like it really got that slightly metallic, bitey, almost powdered sweet sugar, an almost grassy element that I would expect out of a Helles. So actually, spot on. It looks, I mean, we kind of did talk about the visual. It looks a bit shit, right? I mean, I'm all for unfiltered. It's cloudy, that's cool. But it looks darker on camera than it really is. Like, this is like sherbet lemon. Like, this looks like a lemon sour beer. That's the colour of it, which is not really what I wanted on my Helles. I just expect it to be a bit darker, a bit richer, I don't know, a bit more. I'll tell you what it is. It is light. It is a bit too light. But what it really is, it's the hue of it. It's very lemony, and it really needs a bit more depth, darky, you know, orange notes, orange hues going on in there for it to feel like a legitimate Helles. I know there's no hard and fast rules with this stuff, but in my mind, it's not looking like a Helles. So let's give it a go, shall we? Cheers. I feel like the Helles might be Black Isle's Achilles heel. Out of the ones I've tried from them so far, there is no doubt this is the closest to something that feels Hellesy. But that ABV is a problem. It's not a problem that it's low alcohol. The problem is, for it to be lower alcohol, you've got to adapt the recipe, and it feels thin. It feels watery, if I'm honest. It's just the light hop, the bready notes, all of that stuff that you want in a Helles is there, but it's so dialed back that in a blind test, I don't know if I'd call it an alcohol-free beer. It's not got the potatoey thing, which is normally the hallmark of an alcohol-free beer. It's not got that, but it's so void of real body. And alarmingly, you wouldn't call it an alcohol-free beer because despite the low ABV and the general lack of depth in the flavour, the booze kind of tickles sometimes. And I think it's because of that lack of depth in the flavour that it's allowed to show through even in its low format. It's just, I don't know, who's this beer for? There's always a question you've got to answer. I'm always void to say these days that, oh, it's okay, if you wanted to have one and drive, you could have this, because ultimately, let's not drink and drive, first off. And second of all, we live in a time where decent alcohol-free beer exists, so you may as well have that, right? You know, why take the risk? But it's got that kind of low enough ABV for it to feel like I'm not really wanting a drink, but I want a beer. But the flavour's just... Hold on a minute. Let's try something. The aroma's about the same. I may have been hasty. Okay. I don't know where the flavour is in this beer, but there was more of it in that glass than there was in this one to start with, which is unusual because I didn't shake it around because I was told it was quite highly pressured. And normally stuff sinks to the bottom, you would expect. You would expect the end of the can to be a bit richer, a bit more insightful. Turns out not with this. Turns out the goodies are all at the top of the can. And I want to say it's not as bad as I first thought. And that would be true, but by like a few percent points. It's like, it's still, everything I said is still true. It's just a bit... I'm wildly torn on this, because is it a subjectively good beer? Actually, yes. It's balanced. Okay, there's some few issues regarding the fact that I can taste the booze and it's low ABV, but other than that, it's very good. Does it represent Black Isle particularly well? Well, it's got this all organic stuff and everything else, and does it feel quality? Yes, it does. The ingredients feel quality. The execution feels a bit compromised, is all I can really say. It's not a bad beer, and if for some reason you want a 3.4% Helles, yeah, then it's probably the best one out there, because it's probably the only one out there. It doesn't stack up to a real Helles. I just want them to do it right. They are incredibly good at making lager, but apparently not Helles lager, and I don't know why that is. But look, it's fine. I'm not even going to do a full top to bottom taste test on this, because it's just because I'm annoyed, basically. I'm annoyed because I know how capable they are and how much I like them, and once again, the Helles has fallen short of expectation. So apologies, Black Isle, if you happen to see this. I love you dearly, but just do me a Helles that lives up to what I know you can do, because, yeah, as I say, this really isn't it. Sorry if it was a bit anticlimactic. I was really hoping, I really thought, when I saw this can, I was like, you know what, I think they've nailed it. I think this is going to be a demonstration, a righting of the previous wrong, if you like. And it's just not there. The previous Helles was actually a better beer, it just wasn't a Helles than this, which is even more annoying in some ways. So bring back that previous Helles, but call it, as I say, call it an IPH, an India Pale Helles or something. That might kind of work. But look, it is what it is. Again, if you bought some, or you're gonna take a punt on buying some, it's not a bad beer. We have this really, you know, we hold people in certain regards, and if this had come out of a budget supermarket at a low price, I'd have gone, you know what? It's not great, but it's really not bad. It's very drinkable. But because we know what Black Isle can do, it's annoying. So that's it. I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to go away and enjoy the rest of me very thirst quenching. There you go. If you're really thirsty, and want the idea of a Helles without the full delivery, buy this one. That's the best I can say about it, really. So yeah, I better leave it there before I say too much. That really is everything. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribed if you'll be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.